everybody, and welcome back to Movie Files. Elliot here, back with our weekly recap, breakdown, review, spoiler review for the latest episodes of Game of Thrones. And this was episode number 4, which was titled The Last of the Starks. So I'm going to get into the good, the bad, what I want to see next week, and how we're going to wrap up this series, one of my favorite series of all time. So we're going to do that in this review here, guys. But before we do all that fun stuff, definitely do me 2 favors. Number 1, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Do us a favor and check out all of our content. We like to do movie reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions, unboxing videos, and giveaways. So definitely hit the notification bell to stay up to date with those videos there. And then also, with this being such a huge hour-and-a-half episode, I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to leave your comments below. Let me know what you liked about the episode, what you didn't like about the episode. What do you think will go down in these next 2 last episodes of Game of Thrones? Let me know in the comments, guys. So with that being said, let's jump into this review. Alright, so this is your first time watching one of my breakdown reviews. I simply just go over the key highlights of the episode, go over the good and the bad, let you guys know what I thought of it overall. But I'm going to probably miss some things, so definitely this is where I want you guys to comment. Let me know what I missed. Let me know some of your favorite moments that I didn't maybe mention in this review here. So let's jump into it. Starting off the episode, we get a nice moment doing a send-off to some of our favorite characters that we lost last week. Dany saying goodbye to Jorah. We got, Jon Snow saying his goodbye, Sansa saying goodbye to Theon. I mean, it was a really emotional moment, and it shows, the show still has its time. Even though we're wrapping up the series, we still have these moments, these quieter moments where we can say, goodbye to these characters that we've been in love with since, day one for some of these characters. So I love that we start the episode off with that. But then we jump into this really awesome moment where we get kind of the aftermath. They're having a dinner. They're having, everyone's in Winterfell is kind of having a final supper type of thing going on. So we have so many things going on. So where do I start? We have Dany anointing Gendry as the as a lord now. He's going to be running Snow Inn, which was a cool moment, which I thought, I don't know, she's kind of manipulating the situation. She kind of looks at Tyrion and says, oh, that was a nice move. And she says, yeah, that was a nice move. You're not the only one smart here. So we get that. And then we get so many things that I'm just going to kind of go over right quick. We get, number 1, the Hound and Sansa having that conversation, which I thought was a nice beat. That Sansa's obviously changed. And I don't know, was that a romantic moment or just a respect moment? Let me know in the comments, guys. I thought it was more of respect than like them hinting at a potential love interest between the Hound and Sansa. I think that was just a mutual respect type of line there. Looking at my notes here, we get, Jon, obviously, the back and forth between Jon and Dany kind of sharing eyes, and Dany seeing Jon being embraced by the people, and him, Tormund saying that he should be the king. It was a very interesting moment. You can see the anger in Dany's eyes, and you see Varys looking at her. We get so many great reveals. Again, we get so many hookups in this episode, which was very surprising. I mean, Game of Thrones is all about the hookups, we know that, but it was very surprising. We get something that as you guys know from my previous reviews, I always looked at Jaime and Brienne's relationship as a respect thing. I knew they have love for each other because they've been through so much, but I never really saw it as a romantic thing. Of course, I might have been blind to that fact. I know a lot of people want to see that. And they got to see that. We see Brienne and Jaime finally doing the deed, locking it down, showing their love in a sexual manner this time around, which was interesting. We get Gendry proposing to Arya, and Arya shooting him down. I mean, there's so many things. Just looking at my notes here, there were so many things that happened at that dinner that was just amazing. Again, I love the line where Jaime says, I never slept with the night before, and then Brienne mentions she's never slept with anyone before. So really nice touch there. We get Jon and Dany having that conversation, kind of an awkward moment because they were making out, and then, Jon's like, oh my goodness, you're my aunt, I can't be doing this. And they have that conversation, which was really pivotal because it plays really huge into what we get later in the episode. But Dany tells Jon not to tell anyone. Swear to have Sam swear to not tell anyone. Do not tell your sisters. Let's keep it in our knowledge. Let's just lock it down, Jon. Jon, he's just a noble guy. He can't do that, Dany. If you haven't learned by now, Jon Snow is an honest man. He cannot lie to people. So that obviously caused some rift there, which I thought was a really nice scene. And then it kind of transitioned into we're still in the first half of the episode, and we get a lot of great dialogue, but then we kind of transition into seeing of our heroes coming up with a strategy to, conquer Cersei and Westeros, and we see half of her, as we kind of speculated, half of her army has been killed now, so it's only half of the Dothraki and half of the Unsullied and this, that, and the other. We got 2 dragons now, we find that out. Ghost is back, and Dany has a conversation that she needs to attack Sansa doesn't believe they need to attack. They need to let their soldiers recuperate, kind of rest up, and they have kind of a moment there. And actually, Jon takes Dany's side, which was very, very interesting to see. And then I love that line where Arya walks up to Jon and says, "We need to have a conversation." And then we transition to a really pivotal scene. Alright, so in this next pivotal scene, we have Jon, we have the Starks, right? The remaining of the Starks, as this episode is called, the last of the Starks. We have Jon, Bran, we have Arya and Sansa, and they kind of have a conversation. They don't trust, Arya and Sansa do not trust Dany, which I don't blame them. I mean, so far you got this woman coming in with her dragons, demanding this. Her brother is now in love. I mean, there's definitely, I could definitely see where Sansa and Arya are coming from. And Jon kind of tells them he can trust them, this, that, and the other. And then the big reveal is dropped, which we get many reveals in this episode, many spoilers, or not spoilers, but kind of people letting the cat out of the bag. Jon has a Bran tell Arya and Sansa the news that he is half Targaryen, half Stark. We don't see the actual moment, but I would have loved to see that, to see their reaction, but we get Bran telling them that. Then we kind of transition into a couple really, probably one of my best scenes of the season for me personally. And again, I love the action. I love all the stuff that we get with the action moments, but I love when we get to sit down quieter moments. We get Tyrion, we get Jaime, and then Bronn comes out of the dark, shows them, his mission that he's been told, he's been ordered by Cersei to kill Jaime and Tyrion, and they have that conversation. Obviously, old Bronn, he goes back to the trick, and he's always about doubling down. So even though he has a mission, he's been given this new land and this new title, he's given Jaime and Tyrion an opportunity to one up his sister, and I love that moment. The conversation, the back and forth, the dialogue, those are some of my favorite moments of Game of Thrones. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I love the action, I love the adventure, I love what we got last week. Like, I watched the episode, The Long Night, 3 times, and I love those moments, but I love these type of moments where we get the characters in a smaller environment, grounded environment, they're talking it out, the politics involved in the show are some of my favorite moments, and that scene alone was just a home run for me. It was probably my favorite part of the episode. All right, so kind of wrapping up the first half, jumping to the second act of the episode, because again, this is an hour and a half. This is like a mini movie at this point, guys. So jump into the second act. We get Arya and the Hound having a little conversation, a really good conversation there. They're heading to Westeros. We get some farewells. We learn that Sam is now a father, and if it comes to be a boy, they're going to name it after Jon. I really like that moment. Jon says goodbye to Tomlin. Jon says goodbye to Ghost, which we see Ghost, and his ear is chopped off or a bit off, or whatever the case may be. He's going to live in the north with the wildlings. I love that moment. But we know we now are saying our goodbye. So now I don't know if this is the last time I'm going to see Sam and Gilly, and the last time I'm going to see Tomlin. I don't know. This might be, because Sam has kind of served his purpose. He knew all the knowledge about the White Walkers, and now that they're defeated, potentially, I don't know, maybe they'll come back. Who knows? But, I think this might have been the last time we're going to see those characters. If not, I'll be happy to see them, but I can understand if this is the last time we see them. But now we're jumping into the hour mark where I shouldn't say things, but shit really hits the fan. It kind of foreshadows a lot of things. Now we have the truth that Jon knows. He's telling everyone about his secret, and now Varys knows, and Tyrion knows, and the Stark sister knows, and it might be foreshadowing because Tyrion says something that maybe Cersei would kill us all, and it solves all of our problems. So now we're at the part where the episode really kind of gets into the action portion of the show. All right, so where do I begin? Dany loses the dragon. We see he gets shot down and in the water, and now the machine that they made, I believe it was last season, where they the dragon slayer type of machine. They have multiples of those now, which is really scary. We see the Unsullied. Everyone gets off of the ship. The ships are destroyed. And then we find out, I don't know how this happened. I would love to know you guys' theories. Miss Sunday was in the boat, captured by Cersei. We see Dany not listen to her advisors about getting Missandei and going out for Cersei. And we see that conversation between Varys and Tyrion, which is very pivotal because Varys, I think, wants to take out Dany. I think, Jon is in position. I think Varys really wants Jon to be the king, which is very evident in this episode. And Tyrion believes that, but he doesn't. He believes in Dany. He believes that she has a good heart, that she's not going to turn into this mad queen and think with her brain and not necessarily her emotions. So it'll be really interesting to see what Varys is really up to with Dany. I think he really wants to take her out and have Jon be the king because they have proposed to get them married, but Dany's just too powerful for Jon and will really take advantage of him in a sense, as Varys says. So that was really pivotal. But then the moment of the episode is, and obviously we get Jaime leaving Brienne, which is a very sad moment, going back to Cersei, which kind of leads to the theory that a lot of people think that Jaime's going to be the one that ultimately kills Cersei. We'll see. But then we get the moment where we see Tyrion, walking up to the gates and talking to Cersei, and that was a really great moment. It's a really great dialogue. Him just begging her not to do this, not to kill Missandei, not to begin this war, not to risk her baby. And we get that reveal. Whose baby is it? Jaime's or I can't think of the uncle's name right now, but we get that moment. And then, we think that Cersei, and I love Cersei, by the way. This is our first time seeing her since episode 1. I just love her performance, her stoic, her stance on things, and just the evil look in her eyes. We love to hate her, right? She has been the best villain probably on television in my eyes. She's one of the best of all time, in my opinion. But she has that moment. She looks at Missandei and she says, "Do you have any final words?" And she says that to Dany. And then we get the order from the mountain to chop her head off. And that was a very sad moment for me. I'll be honest with you guys, that was more of an emotional moment, emotional death for me personally than what we got with some of the last week's characters. Again, I love Theon and his character arc and Jorah and all that stuff. Jorah, I'm sorry, but seeing Missandei, a character I really liked, her and the relationship between her and Grey Worm, which, again, when we had that moment with them 2 episodes ago about them going off to the beach, you just knew one of them were going to die, but it was a very sad moment. I mean, Grey Worm couldn't even see it. He just turned his head immediately as it happened, so now it's really going to go down. That was a really emotional moment. I think Dany's going to be really pissed. She's going to be really going more emotionally into this war versus strategically thinking, which is always not the best thing to do. Jon does that sometimes and has come out victorious at moments, but we'll see, guys. This is the final 2 episodes. Next week I think we're going to really get into the battle aspect of what's going to go down. We're going to get maybe Dany finds out that a lot of people now know about Jon's true heritage and his right to the throne. I don't know how much Bran's going to play into the rest of the season, or even Sansa, for that matter, and obviously Arya and the Hound are going off to Westeros. So a lot of stuff going down next week. Again, these are our final 2 episodes, guys, which is, again, a bittersweet because you want to know what's going to happen next, but then we know when we get those episodes, it's going to leave us with 1 left, and then the final season finale, or series finale, I should say. So a lot of big things with this episode. A lot of big things coming up pretty soon. I am excited to see what they bring to us. I really enjoyed this episode. This is probably, next to episode 2, my second favorite episode. It might even be my favorite. I'm going to have to watch it again. But I really enjoyed this episode. But I would love to know what you guys thought of it as a whole. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What were some of your favorite moments? What did you not expect to happen? Like Missandei getting her head chopped off by the mountain. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think is Dany gonna do now that people know about Jon's true heritage and his parentage and being a Targaryen? So let me know in the comments, guys. As always, thank you for watching this review. Definitely, if you haven't already, check out our previous reviews. Check out all of our other content, movie reviews. We got the spoiler review for the Endgame. We got a trailer reaction for Spider-Man that we did. So check out that content. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date with that content. Follow us on all of our social media accounts, and particularly Instagram. We are very active on Instagram. We go live every Thursday to take questions from you guys and talk about movie news and TV news. So definitely follow us on Instagram. All that information is in the description below. As always, I appreciate the support, guys. Thank you for watching this review. We'll see you next week for another recap. And we will see you soon with more reviews, reactions, and all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching this review, and we'll see you in the next video.